All right, hello and welcome. I'm Anneli Maley, and this is Under the Surface, pumped by Reebok. This is a short solo episode on self-love and self-worth. So, as I have mentioned in some other episodes, I've been doing some talks at like schools and workplaces and some basketball teams and a bunch of different spaces, and two of the most commonly asked questions were like, how do you deal with failure and how do you love yourself? And you know what, this is a great question because it's something that I am terrible at, and I love that when people ask me this they think that I know because I am not great at it. I am doing some things at the moment that are really helping me with what self-love is, and I have had some of my teammates actually recently say something to me, which I'll tell you in a second, that made me sit back and think, oh wow, my self-love is not where I need it to be. And sometimes that sounds like a bit like, oh, love thyself. There is a difference between self-love and narcissism. So I found this really great definition of what self-love is. So I'm just going to read it. It says that self-love means that you have an appreciation and positive regard for yourself. It's closely related to self-esteem and self-compassion. And when you have a strong sense of self-love, it means you have an understanding of yourself and you have a good relationship with yourself. So they're very different to narcissism. So I'm going to start with I already said I'm not great at the whole self-love aspect, and with the journaling that I'm doing at the moment and self-care and all that stuff, I'm really trying to get to a place where I can actually say like, yeah, I love myself, because I'm not there yet. But one of my teammates, shout out Emily Potter, sent me it was like a reel or a meme on Instagram the other day, and it's like, hey, how about all that love and compassion and kindness that you give to other people, that pours out of you endlessly, you give some of that to yourself? And that kind of made me sit back and think like, whoa, I spend a lot of time making sure everyone around me feels good. And I spend a lot of time like pouring love out of me because I have so much love to give, not just to, teammates and my friends and family, but sometimes just in acts of kindness. I have so much love to give, and I'm giving none of that to myself. I don't say nice things to myself. I am trying to be better at saying nice things to myself, but I'm really quite terrible at it. So I did this fun little exercise and it sounds a little bit cringe, but bear with me, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to ask 4 or 5 people in your life, maybe it's just one person, but let's say 4 or 5, whether it's a family member, a teammate, or a friend, whoever, something that they like about you and something that they love about you. And when they send it to you, I want you to write it down. So what you should have is, maybe you have a list of, John said, I love that Kathy is compassionate. And then Tina said that I love that Kathy cares about other people. And then I'm thinking of another name. Emily says, I love that Kathy laughs with so much joy, right? And then you write those things down. I want you to write down those messages. And then after you write those things down, I want you to rewrite them down. After you've crossed out the John says that Kathy, I want you to just write out what they have said and put an I in front of it. So if John says that I love that Kathy is compassionate, you're going to write I am compassionate. And the next one, Tina says that I love that Kathy is kind and has love. You're going to write I am kind and I have love for other people. And sometimes we find it really hard to listen to the people around us when they say nice things to us. I'm saying that to myself. If I could see my reflection anywhere in the room, I'd be pointing at me like, this is about you. This is a message for you. But ask some people around you something that they love about you, and then write it down with an I statement in front of it. It's like a little Jedi mind trick to kind of trick yourself into believing the love that other people have for you and to accepting it for yourself. And I think that that's just a fun little exercise for you to cultivate self-love. And it sounds silly to think about like, oh, surely not by like crossing out their names and putting I in front of it. Like, it's not going to make me feel good. It will. Do it and tell me it doesn't. Seriously, do that and tell me it doesn't feel good. So that's my little self-love, self-care exercise that I have been doing a little bit lately. And I'm going to repeat this part again. Shout out Emily Potter for sending this to me. But give some of that kindness and some of that love that pours out of you, that you give to other people, give some of that to yourself. So that's what we're going to end on. And that was Under the Surface. I'm your host, Anneli Maley, and that was Pumped by Reebok.